London is the place for me. London, this lovely city. You can go to France or America,
India, Asia or Africa, but you must come back to London City.
After generations of slaving, we're now working and willing to arrive on ships to board the shores of the famed United Kingdom. From kidnapped victims to volunteers to make them an even greater Britain. Different method, same intentions. But new formed groups like West Indians for the first time in records were meeting their infamous African cousins who only knew about each other via false informations.
And they said African, they said we're not slavery.
Well, because it's Indians, they're criminals anyway.
Only a few knew better, were happy to see each other. Former Marcus Garvey followers and Pan-Africanist soldiers who were joining together to fight white colonizers. While West Indians were sent to do the grimy jobs upon the windrush, most Africans were students around the time of pre-independence, couldn't wait to board the ships or plane to go back home for the return leg and participate in the experience of total independence until they received that dreaded correspondence.
Kofi, I can't believe it. You see, there's been a coup. And crew will no longer be sending for you. So you're going to have to survive and do what you have to. Remember us, remember me, remember I love you.
What the hell's Kofi supposed to do? See, the one thing in life worse not knowing what to do is to have your whole life's purpose taken away from you. I keep telling this generation, we should bathe in the wisdom of our elder men and women, for they've experienced a feeling I've yearned for since the beginning of my conscious education. And that's the complete feeling of total liberation against Caucasian directions. But Africans were soon joined by others fleeing their nations, hoping in blind faith for a better existence. So doctors, engineers and civil servants were forced to do jobs below their qualifications. You see, regardless of our cultures, as soon as we arrived, they all despised us. Bloody bastards couldn't even find us decent houses. Imagine this, seeing a sign upon a notice, no Irish, blacks or dogs are accepted. Or if they are, then you accept the overcrowding. Like ants in boxes or crabs in a barrel. Overcrowded areas from Brixton to Grove. Riots with white folks on Latimer Road, while MPs like Enoch Prow was prophesying that rivers of blood will flow. So blacks were afraid to go places where white supremacists live, for their raging war against black residences. So-called working class brothers, what on earth do we do to you? All we wanted was to walk down the streets with you, living in existence with you. But our parents went to work among songs of go home, you bloody was. You're not welcome here. But we believed in the triumph of the human nature, and soon they'll start seeing us as equal human partners. So we wasted too much time never doing for self, and our youths were growing up needing our specialist help, and that can't be provided by the system of somebody else. Meanwhile, Asians came over, kept their cultures and built their own empires, then joined pre-existing black organizations just in case integration was smarter. See, a wise man always has a backup plan. Keep your culture, you develop it further. But Caribbeans didn't even work with each other, much less Africans. See, Africans didn't work with each other, much less Caribbeans. The only thing they had in common was they taught nothing to their children. Teaching them it's better to be British in this climate of racial hatred. Strange fruit, growing on trees without roots, filled with irregular content, watching their parents' development in new neglected ghetto environments. See, right from the beginning, these children were doomed, for society fed them seeds of rejection through their womb, and they tasted the flavour of subhuman behaviour, seeing their strong fathers reduced to subhumans.
Listen, you blacks, you can't do nothing, right? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
sir.
Me work fast. I really need a job here.
Zombies and skeletons of their former past glories. See, these children inherited seeds of self-destruction. The misplaced generation, the missing children of Eden, stuck in all areas of Great Britain, referring to the regions as their lost and found kingdoms. Though there was a time some of them were eagerly seeking solutions, believing Boateng, Abbott or Grant couldn't do what was needed. So they formed organizations operating outside the systems, appealing to the young ones with a new code of conduct, informing them that the government cared nothing for us. They wouldn't even allow us to get acquainted with the best black leaders. This was back in my youth, where bow ties and slick suits with plans for black youth would convince us to convert us, that God owed us a promise, handing out leaflets in the worst neighborhoods. Brothers, sisters, you ain't been forgotten. Why don't you come to the meeting on the weekend if you want more information? Strange, cause nowadays I don't even see him. See, it's hard to live righteous in a world that's not for us. So nowadays it's even scarier to look look inside the eyes of the youth in our areas. The man that says fuck this, cause no man can save us. And I'll be damned if I'm punk like my elders, cause nowadays prison or death don't even scare us. And I guarantee you retaliation if there's another Stephen Lawrence. From running from white folks to running after white folks, to running with white folks, working class foes to crew fellows. 20 years ago your boy would have bombed your house full of petrol. But forget it, cause all that shit is now historic. And this is the present, where so-called urbanites apparently face similar shit. Cause blacks, whites and Asians infected with black commercial so-called culture. So they call it urban. So now you have everything but the burden. Cause for most, this life is just too damn grimy. Though we cope, cause it's the only hole most have ever known, so we cope. Afraid to even dream of better. We're now walking streets in Union Jack sweaters. British blacks or black British, without an aim or a purpose, or understanding of their cultures. Killer looks inside the iris, walking road unopposed with a mentality that's murderous. Strange, cause just half a generation past, his older brother got opposition when he raised his black flag. See, they cared nothing for us. Complete areas depleted into ghettos where elder white folks would soon let you know it wasn't always like this, you know, before them colours moved in. Used to be a picture-perfect environment. No offense. Before blacks arrived with no finance, looked for homes with no assistance, education with no inclusion, qualification without jobs, alienated in areas overpopulated. See, low economics can get the worst from us. In a society that supposedly wants the best for us, while the BNP flourish, Farrakhan is still banished. See, we're all alone, and ain't no man can save us. Psycho spirits of past warriors who subconsciously grows within us. So soldiers on road know they've been through the worst history can throw. So if you think you're hard enough, then do your best to get us. If not, then leave us to live murderous. A mentality unknown to the generations of old. From short man's eulogy to Nolan's cold and road. Cause can't no man reach us. Cause ain't no one ever loved us. So how can you expect to save us? Generations of past Africans causing turmoil inside us. So who knows what the story holds for tomorrow. But for the generation of old, that's gone and passed. From ashes to ashes, to dust to dust. But for the new generation and direction of black Britons, in Almighty God we trust.
Change is coming. Change is coming. Believe that change is coming. Generation.